Morning, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed watching our videos and our recordings. I really hope you'll bear with us in terms of the technology. It's been a very steep learning curve for all of us, and we're learning and adapting as we've gone along to how we use this and present and ask questions and interact with you. But there's an awful lot of opportunities on the application to meet up with people and connect. We've seen a couple of questions coming through about content and delivery and videos, and we will be sending out links and feedback to all of you that have registered and all the delegates in terms of where you can access all the content from this morning's conference. In terms of questions, we've had a couple coming through, one or two about reboot and higher performing workplaces and when they finish. And I would like to ask Joanne Harvatt, if she's there, to come in and answer the questions about the adaptations of higher performing workplaces and the timescales. Thanks, Joanne.
Just check everyone can hear me. Louise, can you hear me? Yeah. So in terms of the project endpoint, it's currently September next year. In terms of adaptation on the project, it's kind of two key things here. I mean, we've adapted the project, which I've mentioned in the presentation, around offering free taster sessions, which we've got some of those coming up, online delivery, delivering virtual project groups, peer-to-peer and mentoring. I suppose more importantly, I think our Grow Skills brochure, which is under the agenda, which showcases all of the high performing workplaces courses. There's a lot on there that will actually help businesses to adapt during this time. So we've got stuff on there about managing virtual teams, leadership, sales strategy, and our colleges, Wakefield, Calderdale, Shipley and Leeds City College, all now have an online offer. So we've adapted, but we can also use our funding to kind of help business adapting. I just would say that there's always room for us to improve, and we always welcome further ideas for the project. And I've set up a virtual meet at 1 o'clock to kind of hear people's views for high performing workplaces. So if you've got views on what we could be doing more in terms of the courses, we're always keen to hear more. So that's kind of two main things from me, Louise, in terms of our adaptation.
Thanks, Joanne. Claire, I'm not sure if you're able to join us and just mention reboot, and I think we were asked about the timescales for reboot, but particularly what reboot can do for people at the moment, for individuals. Are you there, Claire? Never mind, we might have to come back to Claire. As I say, please bear with us with this technology. Maybe I can ask Joanne. I think, again, Joanne Patrickson, our project director. Joanne, we've faced really, people do use the word unprecedented, and I do think it's not inappropriate. So what really do you think we would need in order to use ESIF funding to really help kickstart the economy? We are aware that there are economic recovery boards, and there's a lot of people trying to work out what it is and how we can do this, but what, from your experience, and you've got great experience of managing ESIF projects, what would be really needed to drive that economic recovery in your experience?
Thanks, Louise. Throughout the whole coronavirus situation, we have been surveying our businesses, as Joanne mentioned, and one of the things we have found back is that there is a very genuine want and need for businesses to continue the training with their staff, and for employees to want to undertake training. And I don't think there's anything kind of something we don't know. I think it's everything that everybody does know, is that everybody is watching what they're spending their money on. Unfortunately, certainly in our region, our programmes do require employer match contribution towards the cost of any of that training. And so it is, that is the main issue. Businesses at the moment in time are very nervous. They cannot afford to invest in terms of the training, but there is certainly a want. And actually we have seen in some of the surveys that given the circumstances, there's even more of a need to actually undertake that training. Maybe not what was being delivered before. You know, in terms of that, there's been a flip side in terms of what Joanne's talking about. You know, there's a need for resilience, there's a need for kind of future proofing, there's a need for kind of how do we get back on track from maybe which was completely different to what it was 6 months ago. But the main problem for us at the moment, for any training provider, is for employers to actually contribute towards that. So I think that is the main aspect for us. Yeah, thanks, Louise. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Who else have we got here as well? Bridie, maybe I can come to you and ask you what you're hearing from employers in the construction sector and what challenges they're facing at the moment in terms of their skills needs and how they're adapting.
Thanks, Louise. Yeah, so construction was a little bit different because they didn't really stop as much, so they kept on carrying on the work. I think it was a little bit of a case of, from feedback from construction employers, that as long as the materials they could get hands of, the work could carry on. I guess from feedback we've had from Let's Talk Real Skills in terms of the training is a lot more around level 3, level 4, so not the lower level, but to get people to progress into a different area or a higher area. But that's what we've heard so far.
Thanks, Bridie. So,
Louise, can I ask, there's a question come up from the audience. I think this is one for one of our skills associates, for Jeremy and Bridie. As an employer or an industry, somebody from industry, how can I get involved in being involved in one of your collaborative skills partnerships that you've talked about this morning, in any of the sectors, not necessarily in rail or digital?
Jeremy, do you want to take that?
Yes, I'll take that. By all means, by contacting us, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with people, even if it's not necessarily my sector. But our contact details are available on this system and obviously on the website as well. But more than happy to have a conversation with anyone from industry groups, any stakeholders, employers, obviously, etc. We have full details, you know, comprehensive information on what the collaborative skills partnerships involve and what we're trying to achieve. And I'm more than happy to sit down with anybody. I was going to put my contact details on the chat, but I don't think we've got the chat on here now. We've suspended it, but my contact details are available on the system in the bio section. And quite happy to sit down anytime, even after this session.
Thank you, Jeremy. I think, again, there'll be all of those, a lot of information that we can send out after the event.